The stretch of road in front of me is endless, a black ribbon unwinding through the deep night. My hands grip the steering wheel tightly, knuckles pale as they stand out against the dark interior of my old beat-up truck. The radio crackles with static, the ancient cassette deck broken long ago, leaving me with nothing but the sound of tires humming over the asphalt and the occasional faint whistle of wind leaking through the windows. I'm heading west, back to a town that barely qualifies as one. After 3 long days on the road, fatigue is settling into my bones, but the urgency in my chest keeps my foot pressing the gas. 2 headlights carve out a small, narrow path ahead, illuminating the white lines that divide the 2 lanes. I haven't passed another car in what feels like hours. It's just me and the dark, sprawling nothingness of the highway. I glance at the clock on the dashboard, 2:13 a.m. No one should be out here at this hour, not even me. It feels wrong, like I'm trespassing in some forbidden, forgotten place. But I can't stop. There's something pulling me forward, the need to be home, the need to be anywhere but here. I try to ignore the sense of dread crawling up my spine, the feeling that I'm being watched. Then I see it. In the distance, just barely visible through the gloom, there's a flicker of red and blue lights. A police cruiser? Out here? I slow down instinctively, my eyes narrowing, scanning the sides of the road. No cars, no buildings, just wilderness on either side. But the lights are unmistakable, growing brighter as I approach. As I draw closer, I spot the cruiser parked on the side of the road, angled slightly like it pulled someone over. The lights are flashing, but the car looks empty, its windows dark. My heart starts to beat a little faster. I ease off the gas and roll to a stop next to it, peering through the passenger window. There's no one inside. I frown, shifting in my seat as I crane my neck to get a better look. The driver's door is slightly ajar, hanging open just a crack. It looks abandoned, like whoever was inside left in a hurry. I roll down my window, listening for any sound beyond the hum of my engine. Nothing. Just as I'm about to roll the window back up and keep going, a shadow moves at the edge of my vision. My breath catches. It's faint. Just a blur of motion in the darkness off to the right, near the tree line. But it's enough to make my skin prickle. I stare into the blackness, squinting to see if it's an animal. Maybe a deer? No, it's too big for that. Looks like a man. "Hey!" I call out, my voice sounding too loud in the dead silence. "You okay?" There's no answer. My hand hovers over the gear shift, indecisive. Something tells me I should just keep driving, this isn't my problem. But another part of me, the part that grew up in a small town where you don't leave people stranded, pushes me to investigate. Sighing, I turn off the engine, the sudden quiet ringing in my ears. I grab my flashlight from the glove compartment and step out of the truck, the gravel crunching under my boots as I cross the short distance to the police car. The air is colder than I expect, a biting chill that cuts through my jacket. The wind picks up, rustling the leaves in the trees. The cruiser is old, much older than it should be. The paint is chipped, the tires worn, almost smooth, and the license plate is barely readable. It looks like it's been here for years, not hours. I hesitate, shining my flashlight into the open driver's side door. The seat is empty, but there's something off. The leather is cracked and weathered, covered in a thin layer of dust. A thick layer of grime coats the dashboard. I can't shake the feeling that this car hasn't been touched in a long time. My stomach churns. Something isn't right. I back away slowly, glancing around me. The stretch of highway is still deserted, the darkness pressing in on all sides. But that feeling of being watched hasn't gone away. If anything, it's stronger now. I turn to head back to my truck, but I freeze mid-step. There, in the distance, at the far edge of the highway's reach, headlights flicker into view. A pair of glowing eyes cutting through the darkness. Another car. Relief washes over me, but it's short-lived. The car is moving fast. Too fast. The headlights are growing larger by the second, barreling towards me at an alarming speed. My pulse quickens. I scramble back into my truck, but the screech of tires on asphalt rips through the night, and I turn just in time to see the other vehicle come to a screeching halt beside me. It's an old muscle car, painted a dull, faded red. The engine roars like a beast as it idles, rumbling deep in my chest. The windows are tinted, so dark I can't see inside. My heart is hammering now, blood pounding in my ears. Something about this car, I can't explain it, but it feels wrong. Like the police cruiser, like it doesn't belong here. I step back, my flashlight shaking in my hand. The driver's side door creaks open slowly. A man steps out dressed in a state trooper's uniform, but there's something off about him, something that makes my skin crawl. His face is hidden beneath the brim of his hat, but I can feel his eyes on me, staring through me, colder than the wind that cuts through the night. "Evening," he says, his voice low and gravelly. I swallow hard, my throat dry. I saw the car over there. Thought maybe someone needed help." The man doesn't respond immediately. He just stands there, unmoving, watching me. His silence is suffocating. I take a step back, glancing towards my truck, ready to bolt if I have to. "You're out late," he says, finally, his tone slow and deliberate. "Where are you headed?" "Home," I answer quickly. "Just passing through." He nods, but it's slow, almost mechanical movement. "There's a speed limit on this road, son. You weren't speeding, were you?" I frown, confusion mixing with fear. "No, You need to be careful," he interrupts, taking a step closer. "A lot of people don't make it home out here." The hair on the back of my neck stands on end. Something about the way he says it, the way his voice sounds hollow, like he's reciting lines he's said 100 times before. It makes my blood run cold. I take another step back, my hand reaching for the door handle of my truck. I'll be careful. Thanks for the warning." He's closer now. Close enough that I can see the unnatural stillness of his face beneath the brim of his hat. His skin is pale, almost waxy, and his eyes, they're empty. No life, no light, just a void. My heart races, panic rising in my throat. I yank the door open, scrambling into the driver's seat. I jam the key into the ignition, my hands shaking as the engine roars to life. The trooper doesn't move. He just watches, his head tilting slightly to the side, like he's observing an animal trapped in a cage. I slam the door shut, throwing the truck into gear and flooring the gas. My tires screech as I peel away, and the rear fishtailing slightly before I regain control. My heart is pounding in my chest, every instinct screaming at me to get away, to put as much distance between me and that thing as possible. But as I speed down the highway, I glance in the rearview mirror, and my blood turns to ice. The red muscle car. It's following me. Its headlights are blinding, growing closer with each passing second. I press the gas pedal harder, pushing the truck to its limit, but the car keeps gaining on me. The engine roars behind me, a predator hunting its prey. I swerve onto the shoulder, my tires kicking up gravel, but the car stays on me, matching my every move. It's like it's toying with me, waiting for the right moment to strike. Suddenly, the car lurches forward, pulling up beside me. I glance to my left and my heart skips a beat. The trooper is staring at me through the window, his face twisted into a grotesque grin. His teeth are too sharp, too white, like they don't belong in a human mouth. My breath catches in my throat as I slam the brakes, swerving to avoid him. The truck skids, fishtailing wildly as I struggle to regain control. For a split second, the car shoots past me, and I think I've lost him. But then, I hear it. The wail of a siren. I glance in my mirror again. My stomach drops. The police cruiser, the one I passed earlier. Its lights are flashing and it's gaining on me, fast. No, no, no! I slam the gas pedal to the floor, the engine whining in protest as the speedometer climbs. But no matter how fast I go, the cruiser is right there. Its lights bathing the road in a sickly red and blue glow. I don't know how it's possible. But the two cars are working together, hurting me, playing with me. The muscle car swerves in front of me again, forcing me to slow down, while the cruiser inches closer from behind. I'm trapped. The highway stretches endlessly in front of me. No turns, no exits, just an endless road to nowhere. And then, without warning, the red muscle car swerves violently, slamming into the side of my truck. The impact sends me spinning. The world a blur of headlights and darkness as I lose control. The truck careens off the road, crashing through the guardrail and plunging into the trees. The last thing I see before everything goes black is the trooper standing on the side of the road, watching. That twisted grin still plastered across his face. When I wake, I'm slumped over the steering wheel, blood dripping down my face. The truck is a crumpled mess, steam rising from the hood. I groan, my body aching. Somehow, I'm alive. I force myself to sit up, wincing at the pain shooting through my side. The windshield is shattered, the driver's side door hanging off its hinges. I glance out. My heart drops. The red muscle car is parked a few feet away, its engine still running, and standing beside it is the trooper, his eyes on me. He takes a step forward. I fumble for the door handle, panic surging through me. I have to get out of here. I have to. But then I hear it. The low growl of an engine, growing louder, closer. I look up, and there, coming down the road, is another car. And another. And another. All of them old. All of them abandoned. All of them coming for me. And I realize too late, there's no escape. Not from this road. Not from them. Because out here, on this highway to nowhere, you don't make it home. No one does.